Hi Daksh, could you briefly introduce yourself for the audience?
Hello everyone, I'm Daksh Jain. I'm a student of class 12 in Bishop Cotton Boys School, and with the recent board exams, I've gotten about 99% in my top four. And I personally like to play cricket, football, and I have a keen interest in political science and international relations.
How much did you score in sociology and history?
Sociology, my score was 99, and history was 100.
So, what kind of a student are you from? Are you one of those students who studies from day one, a week before, a night before?
I think I'm more of a balanced student. I start studying personally for my 12th grade board exam. I started studying from just before pre-boards, maybe a week before pre-boards.
Okay, so the paper dene gaya, sociology, history.
Hmm.
Which one were you more nervous for?
I think I was more nervous for history, just because of the vast syllabus and the number of dates, number of people you have to remember, the chronological order of the events that happen in history.
It,
I
it
was more
I think
nervous. Yeah.
history, sociology both have that memorization aspect. History, though, of course, it's a lot. Sociology, may examples and tribe names and all become very important. So, how do you memorize? Is there a specific method you follow?
So for history, memorizing answers is very simple. I take down a sticky notes. I write down what, why, how, when. This is a sequential order that I follow for every single answer, and that makes it very simple because I remember the sequential order and I can fill in. It's basically like a story, history answers. So I can fill it in a sequential order. It's just that the dates I need to write them down, look at it every single day in the night before I sleep, an hour before I sleep, and I'll be able to remember it. The same with sociology as well.
And what do you do if you can't remember an answer? Let's say, for example, names become especially important here because you cannot replace a name, of course. If you can't
Correct.
remember it, it's that mark is gone. So, how do you deal with that in a particular exam?
So in an exam, often when even teachers give the same advice that if you're not able to remember an answer, it's either you look up, close your eyes and open it again and just look up and try to memorize or remember the answer again. If not, you can always leave a blank space, maybe a page or two, and then move on. And later, if your preparation is good enough, I think the answer comes back to you automatically during the end of the exam.
100 in history, 99 in sociology, almost perfect performance across both subjects. So, a perfect performance, of course, requires perfect answers. So, do you have a formula, a method you follow while writing those answers? And could you
For
share that
history,
with
yes,
us?
like I mentioned, I follow the what, why, when, how format, where the teacher, even when the teacher is reading the answers, the teachers read every single answer in a sequential order. All the data that is given, for example, the dates, the places, is given in a very sequential order, in a very formatted order. And it's very important to underline the dates or the names of the people. So when the teacher looks at the answer, the teacher looks at the names and the dates first, and the teacher thinks that yes, this child knows what he's writing, and the teacher corrects it very easily, and that's a key for easy answer marks for answers. Yeah.
Which result surprised you more when you finally got them? The 99 in sociology or 100 in history?
I think the 99 in sociology surprised me a little bit because I was expecting a 100 in sociology, and I was aiming at 100 for every single subject. That surprised me a little bit, and I honestly don't know where I've gone wrong. So, yes, that was a little surprising when I first opened my mark sheet.
Right. And which chapters while studying did you think were a bit more underrated? For example, if you see almost in every subject, we have a chapter that is kind of underrated, comes for a lot of marks, but is underestimated by the students. Is there a
Correct.
chapter like so in sociology and history?
I think in history it is World War Two. There weren't a lot of questions asked, but again, no one expected World War Two to come, and a few questions from World War Two came. Like for example, uh, Germany, and the whole Nazi expansion into Europe. A few questions of that were asked in history, and no one really expected those kind of questions. Everybody expected questions from the Israel-Palestine conflict. And sociology, I think the tribal part of the sociology was a bit underrated.
Okay. So, what did you score in 11th in both of these subjects?
In 11th, my score in both of these subjects, history, it was I think 87 out of 100, and sociology was a 98 on 100.
You were already great in sociology, but what changed in history? Because I don't think you had any external resource. I'm not aware if there are any other channels that teach ISC history. Are there any?
No, unfortunately, you know.
No, right? So, how did you go about that change from 11 to 12th? Was it just the mindset, or did you develop new techniques, new methods?
I think, yeah, for history especially, it was kind of the mindset. 90% it was the mindset, because once boards started coming up, I got a little bit serious with it, because ultimately this is boards. This decides which university I get in, and that is why I had a mindset that I need to score very high marks in history, and I developed a few techniques like writing down the eight markers, the keywords in a sticky note, and memorizing it in a when, why, how, what order. I think that helped me a lot in history.
And how does one actually go about self-studying subjects? Because ISC is, I'd say, one of the more difficult boards in India, especially I'd say it's more difficult than CBSE or SSC, since it's more based on understanding. And understanding is, if you look at it, because you have to find keywords too, and at the same time also explain the answer in your own words. So finding that critical balance in your answers. So I'd say that ISC is more difficult than a few other boards in India. So how does one go actually self-studying about? Because history, geography, EVS, these are subjects that not many teachers teach on YouTube.
Right.
So
Yeah.
how did you develop this system to be able to score such high marks?
I think with ISC, obviously the students find it a little bit harder with compared to the other boards. But I personally think it can be made very easy if the CISE provides for the syllabus and the past year question papers with pupil analysis. So in pupil analysis, they understand each and every paper, and the teachers give an analysis where students need to focus more and where most of the students go wrong. So that kind of feedback from the board helps the students a lot when compared to all the other boards, and I think that helps a lot of self-studying and personal techniques. The mindset of the student matters a lot, and personally, if I have to self study, I need to start explaining it to myself in front of the mirror. So I keep on doing that. I explain all the answers to myself in the mirror. In that way, I can easily remember the answers without by hearting it, as a matter of fact, and I can also develop public speaking skills in the same way possibly.
Let's say you have your sociology exam tomorrow. What does that 1 day prior revision look like?
1 day prior revision. I wake up in the morning and I don't directly sit to study. I first, any student would need a short break, maybe breakfast, some time with the family or friends, and then when they sit to study, the first thing that you do early in the morning when your brain is sharp is you go through all the hot topics which the student thinks is personally I felt a lot of topics like economic organization, tribal organization were hard. So I went through them first, and then I moved on to the easy topics which I can glide through, right? Because it's really easy for me to study those topics, and at that time when my brain needs a little bit of rest, it gives me that rest. And personally, students take a lot of stress 1 day before the exam. That happens because of lack of preparation. So the 1 day before the exam, the preparation there really depends on the preparation that has been done before. So the preparation before is well good enough, then the students can relax and easily memorize the hard topics only for the last day.
How many hours do you usually study on an average?
I think about five, 5.5 hours just before. I think I started this habit 2 months before boards.
Okay. And how did the ISC guide come into the picture, come into your studies? sociology, I just started uploading videos in the last month, right before the exam.
Right.
Right. So, how did the ISC guide come into the picture? How did you find this platform itself? And were you able to find what you were looking for?
Right. So I think before pre-boards, when I started my preparation, I was finding a few YouTube channels for sociology because sociology is a more theoretical concept, theoretical subject, and I was just looking forward to someone explaining it in a very simple way. And I tried finding it during my pre-boards during December time. And like you said, you just start uploading with 1 month before the exam. And 1 month before the exam, I think I was just sitting. I was thinking, what if there was a person on YouTube making videos now? And luckily, I found the ISC guide, and it helped me a lot, especially with all the simple explanation of all these chapters and the notes, especially the notes. Honestly, I only studied the notes from the ISC guide, and that helped me a lot.
And what are your top three strategies to scoring 100 in sociology or 100 in history?
I think first is people need to develop the mindset that yes, they can do it. A lot of students have self doubt and they keep doubting themselves if they can do well in the exams. But with some self motivation and backing towards one's skills, that is the first strategy that they can use, which is self motivation and backing themselves. And then the second is, I would say, cracking the hard concepts. Once the students crack their hard concepts, which they feel that is hard, then they think they have done well in the subject and that they know majority of the portions, and then they can easily glide through the easier topics. And I think the third strategy is time management because uh, boards is only for a month and a half for most of the students, and there's very short period of time between two exams, and going over the entire syllabus during that time is very hard. So when students learn how to manage their time in a very efficient way, where they can study all six subjects together, that helps a lot for the students.
And were you a student who also carried extracurriculars with them through 12th?
Yes, I was actually in my school. I was the head of day scholars, which is the second highest position in the office bearers, and I had the privilege of leading a few anti-rape and anti-drug campaigns for the students. Along with that, I also conducted events for the students in the school, such as one in my school, and we also had a gospel fest. Along with that, I also have a very keen habit of playing cricket and football, uh, not professionally, but as a hobby.
And how were you able to find that balance between extracurriculars and studies? Because many students have reached out to me and they are not able to find the time to study these difficult subjects that require a lot of theoretical understanding and memorization, but at the same
Correct.
time also pursue other hobbies and extracurriculars. So, how did you find that intricate balance?
Correct. I think most students who are into a lot of extracurriculars, I personally have seen a lot of students who do not focus in classes. Once students start focusing in classes, they understand the concept on a first-hand basis by the teacher, and that makes it easy for them when they sit down to study in the night. Maybe it helps them a lot when they already know that this has been taught in this way and these are the concepts and this is how to maybe solve a math problem or a cons problem. So focusing on classes is very important, and also screen time. A lot of students are my age now, their screen time is over 6 hours. I think if the screen time is limited to maybe 3 hours or 4 hours, then it helps a lot because we spend most of our times on Instagram or WhatsApp or YouTube, and we keep postponing and procrastinating all our activities for the day. So these two maybe will help the students.
And how should one go about stopping procrastinating? Is it just pure sheer willpower, or are there any other tips that you might suggest?
Procrastinating, I think it's pure willpower because um, procrastinating is something that all of us have a habit of. We do not do it because we want to, it's just a habit that we do it. So I think it's just that the students have to be a little more serious about studies and their extracurriculars. because procrastinating is mainly us watching Instagram reels. Our memory span has gone down, our attention span has gone down. So it's pure of sheer power. Like if I open Instagram and I see a reel, maybe 3 reels later, I'll realize that everybody gets that. Everybody realizes, oh, I should be studying right now. And but most people just ignore it and keep scrolling. I think at that time, people should talk to themselves, tell themselves that yes, I should close Instagram and I should move to studying or doing something more productive now.
And were you preparing for any other entrances while you were studying for boards? CLAT,
No,
SAT, CUET?
no, I wasn't preparing for anything else.
What are you planning to do with your future now?
So I plan to study BA in History and Political Science with the minors in Economics. And once I study Political Science and International Relations, which comes under Political Science in bachelor's, I want to be deciding on both of the subjects. If I want to be going to International Relations, I would be willing to write UPSC and become an IFS officer. If not, if I want to pursue Political Science, I want to become a policy analyst and a public policy consultant for the government of India.
That's great. I wish you all the best for that. And
Thank
why did
you.
you take ISC? Were you an ICC student before or CBSE student before?
Yes, I was an ICSE student before, so my first choice was ISC.
Okay, that makes sense. So just uh it's basically the momentum that you get from ICSE. It's
Yes,
similar, so you carried on with ISC.
yes. Plus, no other CBSE school or ISC school was giving in humanities as a stream,
Right.
and my school was giving it, so I thought it would be well enough to join my school itself.
That makes perfect sense. Okay, so this is the last question. This is an open-ended question. You can go wherever you want with this.
Like,
What is one or two things that you'd like to say to your juniors? Maybe something that you've not said in this interview till now. Any advice, any suggestions, any tips?
I think the first tip to my juniors would be that I've personally seen a lot of juniors who are not serious in life, and um, when I look at my own, I wouldn't say my school juniors, but in general, any student or any person who's junior to me in terms of academics, it personally hurts me when someone is not serious in life and someone is just throwing their life away uh, to a lot of unwanted things. And once we start becoming serious in life and once we start taking our lives very seriously, in that way I think we can become good citizens for India, for the world, and we can make India such a better place. We can make the world such a better place. And that honestly, if we start doing that with our students, if even the teachers, the administration staff of the school pushes their students towards greatness. They nurture them to become better human beings, and the students need to have that mindset in themselves also, that yes, I want to be doing something in life instead of just throwing it away to some unwanted activity, some unwanted addiction and things like that. So that would be my first advice. My second advice would be to not fall under peer pressure and not fall under the trap of fear of missing out. So when the other students indulge in something that, let's take me for example, if my friends indulge in something that I don't want to, 95% of the students will fall under peer pressure if the other friends are encouraging them to do something that is maybe wrong. And it's that, or the person itself feels that, oh, I'm missing out on something, all my friends are doing this and I'm not doing this. And in that way many students don't prioritize their activities, they don't prioritize their interests in life, and they just gamble away their lives like it's absolutely worth nothing. And honestly, again, if they start to break these two barriers down, where they don't fall under peer pressure and where students don't fear being missed out, because uh, it does, if 99 people are on one side and if I am on one side and I think I am right, I will not obliged to the other people, and I will stand my ground. And that is something that most students wouldn't do in today's day and age, they would fall under the fear of missing out. Oh, 99 people are telling me something. They would think maybe, I would personally think, okay, maybe they're right. I would contemplate it, but most of the students just fall under it. They follow the herd mentality. So if students stop doing that, and students realize that it's okay to be alone sometimes, it's okay to be fighting your battles alone and solving a problem on your own, and figuring things out and having an opinion that is independent of others. I think that is something I would tell to my juniors or my peers.
I hope they listen to that. That's golden advice, if you'd ask me.
Yes.
And just to end things, what is more important, scoring marks, gaining knowledge, or gaining experience?
I think I would balance it out between gaining knowledge and experience, because personally, the marks will matter only for college admissions and university admissions, and after that, maybe 5 years down the line, it will matter, but or maybe 2 years down the line, it matter. But after that, it's just that you carry yourself forward and you start doing a lot of good things in life, and the knowledge and the experience will come in handy at that point in life, and not the marks.
All right. Thank you so much, Daksh. It was a pleasure talking to you. You were brilliant.
Thank
I
you.
hope everybody listens to your advice. It really is golden advice if you would ask me. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.